super excited. I've been like just feeling so many waves. As some of you know, my partner and I have been creating an oracle deck over the past year. And, you know, it's kind of funny to think how it all started because, hello. It started because he left out this pile of index cards. And especially when I get up in the morning, I can't really be trusted with pieces of paper that are being left out because I just start scribbling on them. So anyways, I had my way with this stack of index cards that he had out for whatever reason, and I just started channeling light codes and drawing them on each one. And then before I knew it, there was like probably over 50 of them that I had done. And then I was playing around with them, like, isn't this cool? Isn't this cool that I have this oracle deck now? And that's how I was working with it. You know, there was no names on it. It was just light code. I thought I had it in my desk drawer. Oh yeah, I do. Wait. Okay, I did. Here, this is funny. Oh, moonstone necklace, so beautiful. Yeah, selenite everywhere. So these are actually the beginning codes. Like, this is how it has transformed. And this isn't like, this just came, you know, it just came in. It just came in. And, oh my God, this is so cool to see. I haven't pulled these out in so long. So this is how it, well, this is how it started. It just started coming out. And then I just thought, oh, this is cool. I'll just use these whenever, you know. And then next thing I know, my boyfriend's on his computer, like, seeing what, you know, seeing if he can upload them and do it, you know, and whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's cool. And so it just kind of started that this is what we're doing. You know, there was no turning back once that little thing that I had created started taking off, and, you know, found like the perfect medium for it all to come through. And this very distinct, I call it a family, because the light codes, the light language that have been coming through prior and that comes through on an everyday basis is not the same energy as these cards, as this, you know, as this deck. It's very unique, I feel. And so I know it was made for this deck, and we just sent basically the final prototypes for the cards. Like, this is just one that we got printed at a local printer, so it's not like the final product, which I think is going to be here in August, which is insanely cool. We got the booklet all done, so the descriptions of each of the cards, which was its own journey. You know, it was really cool. So after they all came in, my partner and I each sat with each of the 50 cards and did a channeled reading for it. And then had to, you know, let our both of our channeled messages for each of them kind of dance with each other and merge, and then go through a series of editing. And, you know, and what's also, you know, for me at least, the light codes are activating so much. They're activating us each in unique ways. They're activating us multidimensionally. And so to put that into words, and to not let the words limit what the cards are activating, for me was just this piece in my consciousness the whole time. And so I know I'll be talking about them enough that I can extend that invitation, through my verbiage, so that whatever it is that I say, whatever it is that the booklet says, it's that and so much more. It's that and so much more, because how it's working with you is it's going to be unique for everyone. Because as the energy from the light code is dropped into your field, you have a unique energetic blueprint. And your unique energetic blueprint is the one then dancing with the energy of the card. So it's going to be very personalized in that way, and which will also help to deepen your connection to subtle energy and to the higher dimensional guidance that is ever present within and around you. So the cards translate the light code. So the cards, I'll just show the one that I have here. This is Bless. And so each card has a light code, but they're multi-layered and multi-dimensional. So the word bless is to us what encapsulated the energy, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be that linear of a definition. It's not going to be that linear of a definition when you work with them. The codes, again, are multi-layered and multi-dimensional. So when you pull them, when you work with them, they're going to give you the light code activation, right? The light codes move through your higher self. Your higher self decides what is of the highest, and those light switches are turned on. Those energetic resonances are activated within you. And that can show up as an initial kind of feeling, or however it is that you detect subtle energy. And then once it's activated in your field, it's then going to translate and carry into your life. So that's where you really get to be a co-creator when you work with them. What's showing up for you? What's standing out? What are those synchronicities? And it through your own, life experience, you get to kind of have this really beautiful play with spirit in your everyday life. And so as far as like an interpretation, right, we don't have the language to fully decipher light language, as again, it is multidimensional, and we in this density, can take it to only so far. But what I do believe is that maybe, when it's just like when you're sitting with a crystal, you can have the moment of sitting with the crystal and having an experience there. And let's just say, here I have rose quartz. So in this moment, I can actually perhaps feel waves of love, and I know this frequency of rose quartz, and to me, I've come to know that as well. And then if I were to choose to sit there with the crystal and intentionally work with it in that way, when I'm done with the crystal, I could then be in observance of my life. Wow, I'm actually seeing things through a different lens. I'm caring for myself a little bit more. The things that are not caring are standing out even more, so that I can practice discernment. So what I love and is this ability that we have, and for those of you that have been tuning into my lives know I'm very much about how we can actually bring spirituality or our multidimensionality into our body and into our life, because it is possible, and it makes life far more magical. And I find through, let's just say that example with the crystals, or now through the light codes, there's this opportunity to really exchange with the non-physical in your everyday. Because if you are intentionally connecting with the cards, and you know that you're receiving that activation, then you, whatever it is that however you are going about your life, whatever is coming up for you, emotionally, energetically, mentally, whatever you're seeing, how you're perceiving, all can show you through your own living proof. Wow. Rather than just a definition of what this card is, I'm now having an authentic experience because I'm just observing my life, because that energy has now come in and danced with mine. And through the exchange of our energy field with our life, with our surroundings, we get to see that everything that shows up is aiding in our actual authentic embodiment and expression of that activated energy. See you, feel you, hear you. Beautiful. Oh, so happy that this is resonating. Or fractal, so nice to see you there. And thank you for that question. So I was going to do a little reading with the prototype deck that we have. And so again, I'll move through what feels right for me. Oh, interesting. And then I'll show them to you and see what it is that you pick up. Always kind of shuffle and choose a little bit differently every time. Oh, okay. This is really interesting. So, in order of choosing, I would like for you, so this one we have entitled Empathy, but I invite you to just gaze at it and tune into what the energy feels like as it moves through your being. And I'll show you each one, and then I'll express to you what I'm getting. Now the second, and if you want to write in the comments what you feel from each, I'd love to see. And through that, I mean, you can feel it. You can feel it in your body. Sensations, emotions, maybe you have a flash of some color or some thoughts, or you just have this overall sense of like, wow, that made me feel this way. That spoke to me in this way. And the second card that I picked was Foundation. You can just let that soak in. Breathe it in. You feel it. Awesome. Always good to have confirmation. All right, and lastly, Third Eye. Yeah, very soft in the heart chakra. I feel the same way with that card. Always moves right into the heart. And I love how you can even feel the energy moving, not only in physical parts of your body, but in the energetic centers of your body as well. Thank you for sharing that, Devin. So, Empathy, Foundation, and Third Eye, I find they're telling a story that is likely going to be serving us all on a variety of levels. So what the Empathy card is saying to me in this context is that I'm sure many of you, it's like the cosmic dial is getting turned up. And as the cosmic dial gets turned up, the inner light turns on. This journey of awakening is like in full effect. And as we come to know ourselves in this bigger way, as the light turns on and we see things more clearly as they are, what happens so often is that when the light turns on, we realize our natural gifts of perceiving non-physical energy, feeling non-physical energy. And so when that happens, quite often, the dial turns up, the light turns on, we feel more, we see more, we experience more, not just of the light, because those are those wild perks that we all love, but then the light turns on to illuminate darkness. And we often have to see things that we didn't see before when the light wasn't as bright. But now that the light turns up, we are opening to more of our fullness and more of the full truth within us and around us. And yes, that includes light, dark, and everything in between. But simultaneously, as this dial turns up, so too does the frequency of our heart. But we can often forget this when the dial turns up and the first thing we go to is likely, most often, our own unhealed shadow is judging darkness, judging the polarity, and feeling like we are being overtaken by all that is. When in actuality, it already existed, it was already there. It's just that light has turned on even brighter. And we weren't given a handbook how to deal. And luckily, the energetics are revealing themselves to us and we're able to comprehend it and apply it. And so if we know that this is part of the process, if we know that we exist in a reality of polarity, and we kind of look at those triggers from, like when we talk about being, empathetic, right? What this card is about. This is where I'm going with this. Quite often that the actual gift of empathy gets lost in the confusion that you are experiencing more of what is and not knowing how to handle or navigate perceived darkness or discomfort. Yeah, and that's a beautiful bridge, right, Dorian, into the next piece of this, because you are becoming more aware. You're becoming more aware of it all. And so really the question is, how do we care for our totality, our own totality, before we even begin to think about everyone else? But they go hand in hand. Because the more spiritual you get, it's not even a thing, but that you think you get, it's not that you start not seeing. The growth is that you start loving what you see. And that, to me, is the true empathy. And what can get confused when we talk about like a disempowered empath, it's that we don't have the appropriate boundaries in place. We don't have the appropriate self-care in place. We're not exercising discernment, which you do on this journey. And especially the spiritual journey. It's how do I actually love what is arising? Because we all have shadow. We all are weeding out our subconscious crap. It's in here. It's in here. Those lifetimes that we'd rather forget, they're in here. So the empathy is really for oneself first and foremost, Megan. And just noticing the way that you identify with being an empath, because really every single person who is awakening, opening the door to love, is saying, I have the ability to feel, because we do. We're all connected. We can feel the collective. We can feel our fellow man or woman. We can feel the energy moving through ourselves. And so just notice, this is your best training. This is your best way to strengthen these empathetic muscles, because what is coming up within you that is lacking that unconditional love and support, no matter how dark it may be. So this is where you get to put it into practice, and not for perfection, but it makes a much realer and more authentic exchange, rather than a perpetuated story that I am an empath, and which creates more separation, but rather, wow, from this place, I'm taking responsibility, and that allows me to have far more compassion to the energy that I'm picking up around me, and knowing that, again, I get to exercise boundaries, discernment the whole way through at any time. We can do that. We can make choices that honor our energy. That is within our power. Needed to be the armadillo spirit. Sounds lovely. Awesome. So happy that this is speaking to you. All right. So there's our empathy card. And it goes, I think this goes really beautifully. So we have foundation and third eye for those that just tuned in and want a little taste of the energy flows coming in. So the foundation piece and the third eye piece I kind of just covered. And I think that this is the story that it's telling. That, you know, knowing that the reality is we are awakening. I think all of you can say that. Things are turning on, not off. Regardless of what you're perceiving from the outside is happening within you, if you get really honest with yourself, the dial's turning up. The light is turning on. And so as that occurs, knowing that that is the case, what is your foundation for yourself? If you know, holy shit, I'm going to start seeing, God only knows. But that's on some level what you're asking for. You want to be able to see colors that weren't there before. You want to be able to see all of the mystical and magical beings that are here to support you. You want to be able to see more of your totality. So those are all the wonderful magical things. But in order for that to turn on, our higher self cares about us so much that it doesn't just like turn up the dial. It goes at a pace that is sustainable. And so foundation is saying, okay, what are those self-care rituals in place? What is the self-love practice that we have going? What are our values? What are our core beliefs? So these things are creating that foundation, that energetic framework. How is the relationship to your body? Because your body is the home. And this is, you know, something that you've likely heard me talk about over and over again, but this is how much our higher self cares, that the more that the crown opens and expands, now we're in a time that's saying, okay, what do we do with all of this now? And if we don't feel like we have a safe home for it to land in our body, where does it go? And so this is all part of it, creating the foundation that says, I am safe, I am held, all of the things. I have my boundaries in place. I know that I can exercise discernment. All of these things are foundational to actually allow your gifts to expand, your empathy to expand, your feeling abilities to expand. And that's where the third eye comes in. As your senses open, as the psychic senses open, as you're being called to interface with your reality from a spiritual place, not as a spiritual bypass, like I'm just doing it out here, but really, how do I bring it in? And we have this ability. And the how is through foundation, through an open heart, so that the portal of the third eye that came in last is able to not only open and expand, but deliver information to the human self. Asking and working on, I don't mind taking time with it. The rest of my life. Yeah, and we all know how, if we tune in that our choices are creating a certain feeling frequency. Our thoughts are creating a certain feeling frequency that we're tuning into all the time. And if we don't want to, look, been there, you don't want to, then you check out so you don't have to feel. But where do those feelings go? Where do they go? They stay. They stay. And through the act of saying, wow, I like life, and I know it for me, I very much like always paired, you know, kind of like a life in harmony as boring. And now I know that this is a complete illusion and way that I was like framing something that was so black and white and not even real in the first place. But realizing that when we actually do make choices that are in alignment for ourselves, like I also deemed those to be boring at a certain time in my life, which led to a huge, I mean, every choice, even in those chapters, was for a reason. But I now realize that, wow, by taking care of myself and cultivating this inner energy, you're living in a place that, again, isn't like a natural high, like outside of yourself, but really is a natural high being in your body and in your feeling based on the things that you're consciously generating and working on and working through for yourself. And this is possible. This is possible. That's funny, organic comfort, yeah. Yeah, but what you realize is that no, through the power of my choices, I actually get to create, like, as I say, an inner temple, a place that I actually want to reside and be with and feel. And this is within our power in this lifetime. It truly is. And I can only hope that the energy in these cards are going to serve you greatly. So just to go up here, the oracle cards I'm using. So this is the Light Code Luminary Oracle deck that are my cards. This is just our prototype. We just printed this and taped it together, my partner and I. And so check this out. This is going to be the box, but we got the lettering UV coded, so it's gonna be all flashy when you look at the box. Yeah, I'm so psyched. But everything is officially in with the printer. The cards, the booklet, the box, all of it. So I'm feeling August they're gonna be in, which is just next level and awesome, and I can't wait to share. And so for those of you that just tuned in, towards the end, I certainly will share this to IGTV. We just had quite the powerful reading. Yeah, oh, spiritual billionaire. So true, sister of light, wonder star. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I cannot wait to share them with you. Oh yeah. When can you buy? When they're in, I will. Oh God, guys, I will be letting you know. And I will be using. I'm sure I'll be popping on. I've done this a couple times with the prototype deck, just because the energy is awesome. And that's like the coolest thing, you know, looking at these so many times and still like, I just like want to cry every time. It's amazing. Sometimes I'll hear my partner being like, and I'll look over and he's just like, the cards. Oh, thank you. And I want to say, yes, I know. Aw. Make sterling silver earrings of the empathy card. I like the shape, and maybe that would aid in active. OMG, that is a great idea. Where's our silversmith in the house? My jewelry days are done. But that would be so cool. Probably just need some wrapping wire. Cards look good. I'm already enjoying them. Yeah, and that's the cool thing, right? You can feel the energy even through the screen. Just wait till you get them in person. All right, everybody. If you would, let's see, if you're new and you want to introduce yourself, send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you. Or if something activated within you that you didn't quite want to share in the comments, that's okay. Send me a DM. I love hearing what these activate within each of you, especially if you're tuning in to this live later. All right, sending my love to you all, and I will go ahead and post this to IGTV. Send in my love.